y'all, it's Trent on the Loos. I am actually on a football field. You can see that York High School was the football state champions in 2017. This is the York Dukes football field and Levitt Stadium for York College. So what am I doing on a football field? Well, I actually had considered for a short period of time running the length of the football field and telling you that I scored a touchdown. Now, would you know whether that be true or not? No, you wouldn't. You'd have to take my word for it. But in today's world, we have a digital archive of what actually happens. You ever think about that? How many things did you and I do in high school, if you're 50-some years old, that only your parents know about because they were there to witness it? In today's world, what we have is high schools that are teaching young people how to be broadcast journalists. Now, that's wonderful for developing the young person, possibly fostering a career like we're about to see with Leighton. But on another aspect of that I don't think we think about enough, there's an archive. And there is proof of what actually happened. Not that you need proof that you scored a touchdown or you had an interception or that great passer struck out 12 people in one game. But it's tremendous that we have the ability to have factual history in every regard. You know, it's said that history is written by the winners. And history is what people want you to think that it was. In today's world, the fact that I just told you this and the fact that I didn't score a touchdown and run is all recorded. And people will be able to verify it forever. Don't disregard the aspect of the digital history. Who knows? It might come. If we didn't have it written up there on the board, 2017 football state champions, who would know? How do we record history? More importantly, how do we build future broadcasters and media personalities? We'll find out at York High School. Trent on the Loose with more from the 20-yard line after this.
In the heart of North Dakota lies a beautiful community to live, work, and play. Beulah is surrounded by nature and just minutes from Lake Sakakawea and all. Place to find a fulfilling career, epic adventures, and a welcoming community. Life here is legendary. Plan your visit today and see what you're missing.
Folks, when it comes to crop protection, you need equipment and technology you can count on. The Apache sprayer accomplishes all of that. But you need something else, a service counter and a group of people that'll help you when you need it. Simpson Farm Enterprises at simpsonfarm.com and High Plains Apache from Mandan. They have the service, they have the equipment. All they need is your confidence. Online, simpsonfarm.com or highplainsapache.com.
At OLS Tubs, we focus on quality ingredients to create premium, low-consumption supplements that save producers time and money. Our customers see increased profits through better conception rates, heavier winning weights, and less time and money spent on doctoring herds. OLS formulas focus on highly bioavailable trace minerals and vitamins, as well as key ingredients to improve immune response, colostrum quality, and feed conversion. Our exclusive formula propels your livestock to their full genetic potential. This is why we confidently say OLS Tubs are simply the best.
Are you looking for something special or one of a kind? At Bassett Motors, we can help you find exactly what you want.
Come on in and experience how small town hospitality and personal service can make car buying a pleasure.
We know interest rates are important to you. We have multiple lenders to negotiate your lowest payment.
Visit us on Highway 281 in Carrington, North Dakota, and online at BassettMotors.com. Bassett Motors, where our customers send their friends.
Trent Loos here for my friend Greg Hager. Do you know why he has been named the Entertainer of the Year? It's because he writes his own stuff. It's because what he writes and performs and entertains will touch you in a way like very few songwriters can touch you. His country, his Christian roots come to life. Visit GregHager.com for tour dates, merchandise, and book the show yourself. Use the code GREG24 for a discount. GregHager.com.
Welcome back, y'all. It's Trent on the Loos, Leighton Oberly. This will actually be the longest recording that I've ever done in 4 years of Trent on the Loose, because we started filming this back at a football game in maybe September. And here we are in March. Where you been hiding on me?
Well, been at basketball and state tournament and just kind of been here, really. Trying to keep up with my schoolwork most of the time and do well on it.
You think your mom's watching? You have to talk about your schoolwork?
Well, she can watch. Nothing to hide.
So, Leighton, you're part of a great program in a great high school, York High School, York, Nebraska. And there seems to be a few schools starting to move into giving students hands-on education and broadcasting. And you, not only with video, last time I was here, you videoed me speaking, you're broadcasting the football games. How do you assess what's all happening in your education as it comes to broadcasting in the school?
Well, and I'd like to first of all thank the company Strive out of Henderson, Nebraska. They kind of started the whole high school live streaming thing, and York was one of the very first Strive schools, and it was one of those things where giving kids an opportunity to broadcast, get hands-on, not only just announce. That's Work Wirecast is the program that we use, run cameras and keep stats, and there's all kinds of different things that we, TV companies do that run during sports broadcasts that kids in high school are given opportunities to do. So I'd like to thank Strive, but a lot of the schools have adapted that, especially in Nebraska and throughout the country. So we are just given great opportunities, not only me as in New York, but a lot of other schools who elect to use Strive and other businesses and companies to give students opportunities to broadcast events.
Do you prefer being behind the camera or actually announcing the games?
I enjoy announcing games for the one of my favorites, but I'll do about anything. I really enjoy just being there, helping out, helping to get good replays of stuff wherever I am, or announcing it. It does not matter to me in one way or the other.
There's no doubt. I mean, I graduated an eon ago, 1984, and there was no streaming. There was some parents maybe doing some video recording. We didn't have VHS then. We were videoing on reels, And now, I've got a daughter right now playing softball in Sioux City for the Concordia University team. It doesn't matter where she's playing. I can watch every single game, and you're creating that opportunity for families in York. No matter where the game's at, you can bring the family, grandma, grandpa, everybody, in tune with what's happening with their kids.
Yeah, you got a lot of families that don't live remotely close to York or from where they are, so you give a lot of families. And I know last year we had a foreign exchange student that was on the dance team, and they lived somewhere in Europe, and the family got to tune in all the way from halfway across the world. So that is really neat opportunities for people who can't make it to still be in on the action, be able to watch live video with some commentary. It really provides fans an extra opportunity to see what's going on without actually being there.
So I've been waiting to ask you this question since that football game. That football game didn't turn out like York wanted it to. Yet, as an announcer, you have to maintain your composure and not put people down and maintain enthusiasm that if we could just get one touchdown, we'll get some momentum and come back. How do you do that, and how tough is that?
Well, it's not necessarily super tough, but as well as an announcer, fans like to hear the optimism, don't like to hear any pessimism or anything, as far as you don't want to talk bad on a team, especially since it's your own school. But you always want to remain optimistic, and that's all you can do. As far as from a spectator standpoint, you can appreciate that, and it's not necessarily super hard, but it may seem difficult, but it really is not extremely difficult. But is just got to keep on the optimism side and look and see what said team can do to try to inch their way back into a ball game.
Well, there is one little caveat that I didn't think about, Leighton, until you're walking through this, is that you're going to announce the football game on a Friday night, and you're going to be back in class with these football players on Monday morning. And if they think you said something wrong, they're going to say, Leighton, what's wrong with you?
Right.
Or worse.
And And you don't really then you don't have to worry about that. You just kind of keep things on the good end. Nobody really has to question anything really you said. He just keeps everything on the good side, and then, also the players probably appreciate that. You talk good about them. They like to hear that because people hear their name, and it's always a good thing, really, all around.
Has this opened up a career for you?
I would say yes, because it opened up. I really didn't know what I was going to do before high school, but then now I have, this opportunity, and thanks to Strive and thanks to Mr. Loof, and to give opportunities for me to find things that I really enjoy. And I really enjoyed, broadcasting games. So that's not only just announcing, running cameras, running instant replay, running.
Standing here talking to you, but that evening that I was with you in the broadcast booth, there's an entire team. It's not just the person you hear on the air.
No, there is a lot more that goes into each broadcast than fans or see on camera. You have the announcer or two or three that you see on the camera, but there are camera operators and directors and producers and replay, and there are a lot more people behind the scenes that you don't see than people that you actually see on camera. So a lot has to go credit out to the people that operate cameras. And I know at the state tournament when I helped, I wasn't announcing, but you saw there were two people announcing, but you had three camera operators, you had a director, you had a producer, you had an executive producer, you had a replay person. So there was all these different roles that kids can do, and they can, without having to hear themselves or be on camera. So sometimes some of those positions and what fans don't see can sometimes be underappreciated, but there's a lot that goes into it.
What's the moment broadcasting that you replay in your head most often?
That's a really tough decision. Really, really good question, but really I think I'd have to say when York last year, both boys and girls won their district final games at York, and I got to do both of those games. It was just really fun for both boys and girls to, make it to win that game and punch their ticket to the state tournament. So I'd have to say that was probably one of the most memorable events I've had.
We know, Leighton, that in our part of the world, particularly small rural communities, no matter what state you're in, the success of the sports and the athletics, and I'll even include FFA. Has Mr. Hirschfield got you broadcasting FFA events yet?
We do not do.
Why?
FFA
Why not?
events. There's a lot of it. Sometimes it's just kind of complicated, and as far as what equipment you have and wireless and having to wire stuff and not having long enough cables, there's just a lot of things that go into that, but maybe just really haven't something we really thought about yet.
Yeah, I don't think we've thought about it. Now that he's thought about it, it's going to happen. But I wanted to come back to what is quite possibly the most important aspect of high school athletics. I don't think probably. You have to put in there what it means to a young person to be challenged to do something and then succeed or fail and learn how to not fail again. But from a community morale standpoint, it's a huge, we talked about the parents, the grandparents watching the game, but for the community members to be able to watch the game, whether they're there feeling the excitement or not, and building morale for the community, I'm not sure we know how to assess that, and I think you're contributing to improving that in an immense way.
Well, you get a lot of fans that necessarily, especially sometimes during the football season, it's cold outside, or it's raining or it's snowing, and nobody wants to go outside, but you can sit in there and watch the game, but they can watch it from the comfort of their own couch and the warmth of their own home. And it really gives people an opportunity to, if they're not at the game or they're working, more people can watch the game. You have the people that are there, and then you add on top of the people that are there, the people that are watching online. So, I mean, you had a lot for our state playoff game against Scotts Bluff. We had a lot of people in the stands, and you had another 1,100 watching on the internet. So it really gives the community an opportunity and more people with access to tune in for free and to watch their favorite high school team participate in big events.
Does that ever make you nervous?
Not really. It's just every game is a game, and try not to let the nerves get to you, but it's they're fun to do. But I never really had any problems with stress or, this is a big game. Every game's just a game, in my opinion.
And to prove that, let's take you out of this segment with Leighton Oberle announcing that York game again. I think it was Waverly.
Waverly.
Yeah. Don't look at the score. Just look at what's happening right here in front of you. And we'll be back with Mr. Loof, as he was talking about earlier, when we continue. Trent on the Loos from York High School after this.
It's not very level either, you know what I mean?
So 14 seconds is all that remained in this first quarter. Waverly gets the interception and turn it into 6 points. Hastings to kick it away. We're going to pitch it to Frank Musingay, the return man. Also space up the sidelines, not going to bounds at the 32.
They almost had him, but coming to Henderson Smith. Kind of like Boone to
So first down at 33, this should be the last play.
Just kind of expect the run to get to the second quarter right here. Okay, so you can't like tilt down anymore. See how much better it is.
Dirks takes the snap. He's going to hand off to Seth Erickson. No room to run. That should end in the first quarter.
Hello and welcome to the MHA Interpretive Center. It's the perfect stop along the Lewis and Clark Trail and the cultural hub of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation. Nestled along the shores of Lake Sagagawea in Newtown, North Dakota, 1 mile west of the Four Bears Casino. You can enjoy amphitheater performances, art exhibitions, and educational workshops utilizing our living cultural center. Enjoy some coffee, browse our gift shop, and learn about the original people of this land. Learn more at mhanation.com/interpretive center.
Base Flug Trailers of Dickinson is a family-owned dealer with expert staff that know their products front to back. We stock over 150 units of all types and can custom order a trailer with the unique features and capabilities you require for brands you can trust. Our experienced service team is the reason we're also the best place to have your trailer customized or repaired. Count on Base Flug Trailers of Dickinson to keep you hauling.
Shop Outdoor Facility, Highway 22 South. Let us build a truck for you.
People get sick for two reasons and two reasons only. Your body's missing something that it needs, or it's exposed to something that it doesn't need. So if you supplement what the body's missing, the body fixes itself. If you remove from the body toxins that are interfering with the body's doing what it's normally designed to do, then the body heals itself. It's really that simple.
NO2U, that's nitric oxide, NO, number 2, letter U.com, and you put Trent as coupon code, you don't pay any shipping.
Welcome back, y'all. It's Trent on the loose. Leighton is gone. He's off announcing something somewhere. Levi Loof, are you his mentor?
I just call him. I'm his teacher. He helps me with everything. He's also a boys basketball manager too, so he helps us with a lot of things around the school.
So Leighton and I were talking about how so much has changed and getting what's happening at the school level to the community. And I think this is absolutely fantastic. And there's not enough schools doing what you're doing, using talent from the students to broadcast games, and not just do it where you're holding a camera and trying to keep up with the volleyball, but actually bringing and teaching broadcast skills. And it all starts right here in this classroom.
Yeah, so we have a class called Media Productions that we work a lot with Photoshop, and Canva is something we use now just because it's a lot easier and it's web-based and it has templates for kids. And then we post stuff around the TVs in school. We're on Twitter, trying to get our Instagram a little bit more involved because that's where more kids are than Twitter. And then, yeah, we broadcast most varsity sports. And like you were saying, he's a commentator. We have kids run multiple cameras per event. We have a scoreboard. In the gym, we have the video boards that we're slowly getting better at. So there's a lot of things happening in our media productions class.
I didn't think Leighton was a commentator at all. I thought he was an exceptional tater.
Yeah, it's not just one sport. He does football.
You missed it, Levi. I was going off of the commentator, exceptional tater.
Things go way over.
I got to draw pictures for you. It's just not the same. But I mean, the opportunities that exist for somebody that doesn't want to participate in the sport itself, but still actively a part of it.
Yeah, just this year I had a kid who didn't want to play football, but his brother was out and he wanted to be able to go to games and see his brother, but he's not much of a player himself. So I put him as our on-field camera because we have a wireless system. So we got to have shots of a camera angle right on the field. When we were on the goal line, I had him sitting right on the goal line. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an opportunity that kids just didn't have when I mean, you're much younger than me, but who knows what I would have done if I could have been broadcasting instead of playing.
Yeah, I mean, even when I was in high school, we didn't have live streams. You couldn't even watch like state basketball games at home unless it was the championships. So it's insane how much things are going and how fast they're happening.
What about other aspects of what you teach? You don't just teach broadcast here in the technology department. What are the things that you're doing at the classroom level?
So one of my classes starting next fall will be state required. So I've never actually taught a required class in my life. We kind of went through it this year where I got to kind of play with it and see what I like, what I don't like, and how I can improve to make it legit next year. And that's just called Foundations of Computing. And it does some digital citizenship, which is basically don't be an idiot online. We go some Microsoft PowerPoint, some Word, and then real basic coding at the beginning. And then we have advanced computing fundamentals, and that's Excel, and then more advanced coding. And then I have media productions that I have a couple sections of. I have yearbook, which kids can take any period. So it's essentially like a independent study where they can take, mainly because I need more kids for yearbook.
It's like Leighton just never leaves our presence. I don't know. It's like he's in our head.
But it helps me get more numbers offering at any period. And then I'm also working with our admin team to get a full-on coding class so I can kind of get a capstone with my program.
Okay, you just opened up 3 new doors. First of all, go back to don't do something stupid online. There was a period of time when we started posting on initially Facebook and then Instagram and TikTok and wherever else, Snapchat, whatever else is used. They didn't fully grasp, but once you put an image there, 6 years from now when you're applying for a job, somebody's going to pull it up. Are we getting a better handle on that?
I think overall, yeah. I mean, I try to, if I'm on Twitter, I follow kids, but I don't really get on Instagram enough to see what kids are posting, and they could be private, so I can't see anyways. But I know our junior high has a short little bit of stuff on digital citizenship, and then we're starting it now where it's going to be required. Hopefully it's just one of those things where if you hammer it into their head, they'll figure it out. But to me, the toughest way to learn is from mistakes.
Trial by fire.
Yeah, so if you happen to mess up, then hopefully you learn from it. But and we can say all we want, but kids are going to be kids, and you just got to hope to steer them in the right direction.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, in coding, I have a glimpse or somewhat of an idea what you're talking about, but I know that you have to have communication with communication and not have it open to the world. Kind of walk us through exactly what encoding is in today's digital world.
I don't know a ton yet, so that's one thing I want to get figured out is once I know what I'm going to teach. I didn't learn any of that in college. So like what we've been talking with Leighton this whole time, none of that was classes that I took in college. It was kind of trial by fire for me as well. But I just feel like kids down the line in future careers having a coding background or getting into a job where you're coding, you're going to be far better off than other areas, just the way our world's growing now with cybersecurity and programming, coding, all those types of things. So the only stuff we do is really basic where you're controlling a dog, like move left, move right, pick up ball. And then that advanced class, we have a little bit of JavaScript, a little bit of HTML, just kind of dabbling to see if they like it, if get their feet wet, and then hopefully I'll have that full-on class where they can go a full semester.
So the whole IT world is advancing so quickly. As a teacher, have you ever had the moment where you said, whoa, 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 this may be just a little too far on where we should be in communication?
I haven't had that, no. I feel like, honestly, schools are behind, and you can only try to keep up so much, but you also have to follow standards and things like that. And like I said, this is the first class that I'll ever have next year that's actually required, that has state standards. Technically, all the other stuff, I could do whatever I want and teach what I felt worked within the realm of the scope of what we have in our handbook and our curriculum, but it's going to be interesting. It's really fast.
There are schools doing some things, but not at the level of a full broadcast crew that you have. How soon will others catch up?
Well, I think there's a lot of schools. If you go to where we live stream right now is a website called Strive. It's mainly based in Nebraska. When I first taught at my first school in Valentine, we didn't have that when I was there, and then I moved to York, and it was just, like I said, the trial by fire. But I did learn a lot.
Valentine, you had 2 shorts and a long. What else did you need?
Right. There wasn't much there, but I do miss the hunting.
By the way, I miss Valentine.
I miss the hunting and fishing too, as comparison to living here. But we just didn't have the classes there. But there's a lot of schools that do live stream. Some live stream on Huddle, where they just press go and it does it for you. But I do like where we are with myself and other schools that are on Strive, where it's student-led broadcasts and the students are learning how to maybe have this become their career and things like that.
So I got a buddy at Huddle, and he's explained this AI to me, where you put up a camera, and like you said, actually I got one right there. That lens will just follow you wherever you go. I don't think that has the same educational aspect as what you're teaching with like Layton's doing and your entire team.
No, it's nice for smaller schools where you can't get the kids and you still want to stream to families to watch it, grandma and grandpa who live hours away. So I get that aspect. And as a coach, I like it because we don't have to have a 6th grader on an iPad recording every game, which isn't always perfect. And the AI is not perfect either, like on a fast break. Yeah. But my main thing is and Strive does a great job too. Everything's about student-led, and the kids are doing it for your school.
And the other aspect that I experienced in this football game, the one football game I came to where I got to watch the team, the broadcast team, is you might think it's a group of students and, they're just there. It's intense. And when that football game is happening, it's like a broadcast of the Super Bowl.
There's a lot going on. Yeah, if we have all 3 cameras going on, we have a main wide view. We have what we call the sniper, which is more zoomed in on kids, and then hopefully in most games we have that wireless camera on the field. So one person has to switch between all 3 cameras on what the people are seeing. We have some walkie-talkies, but they don't always work perfectly to communicate. So there's that, and the commentators going, the scoreboard, the person actually running the program that sends the stream to the website. Football is very fast-paced, so is basketball. Volleyball, a lot better, where it's just, all right, here's a point, and then you get a little bit of a break, realign, and then go back. So yeah, football, very fast-paced.
Levi, final thing, when you graduated and you knew you were going to be a teacher, did you see yourself in this position?
No, not at all. I got a degree. I thought I was going to be teaching accounting and personal finance and maybe a little bit of Microsoft Office. And now I teach none of the business stuff. That's a different teacher here, and I'm all tech. And yeah, I've had to learn a lot on my own, but that's the same thing as kids. And even the first semester I taught coding, I was very honest with the kids. Like, hey, I'm learning it too as we go, and that's just how it goes sometimes.
Isn't that the motto of life? Learning by doing and trial by fire. Levi Loof here, teaching at York High School, creating the opportunities, challenging the young people, and creating the opportunities for them to rise and shine. Thank you, Levi.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Trent Loos. Welcome to another live across the pond with my pontification partners. Good morning, late morning, UK. I can't get used to that. Andrew Henderson.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kelly. Andrew's on mute. He doesn't want to talk. So
I
told you last week I was going to be chivalrous and let Kelly go first, and you forgot that it was the morning here.
Good late morning, Kelly Seaton.
Good morning.
He couldn't organise a wine tasting event in a vineyard, could he? Let's be honest. He's absolutely awful at the moment. Not got his mind on the job.
Okay. Kelly, what do you got going on this week?
Well, I've literally just had a message from somebody and I've said, can I use this data? And they've said, yes, that's fine. So this person was at a Love British Food event yesterday. And the figures I've had are 30% of people go into hospital malnourished and 66% of those leaving hospital after a week's stay are malnourished. On top of that, the budget for school meals, have a guess what that is, Trent, in pounds, if you can.
Have a guess
day.
at what per day? Well, I'm going to say $6 per day.
£2.53.
What?
How much?
£2.53.
That's about $4, Trent. So you were $2 out.
Okay. Well, I can miss a chicken by 5 pounds.
I was just flabbergasted by that data. Like, more people are leaving hospital malnourished, and having been in hospital to have my children, I have to say the food is pretty shocking. I made my mum bring my food in when I was having my babies. I just find it really shocking that 66% of people leaving hospital after a week's stay are malnourished.
Yeah, that's
a staggering figure. That's a staggering figure. That's a staggering figure, actually, isn't it?
Why are 36% of the people going into the hospital malnourished?
30% going malnourished. Well, the thing is, people are overweight but undernourished, which I think is probably something we've touched on before.
Right.
And you'll probably find that the ones that are malnourished are the ones that are obese, quite frankly, because they're not getting nourishment from their food. But yeah,
I need to ask a question here.
More than
wait a
double
minute,
leaving hospital.
They must have done a study on this, and I'd like to know what the criteria for malnourished is. Is it short in vitamins, minerals? What is it? Because that would be quite interesting to see what the actual definition was to understand what that data is really.
I agree with Andrew.
I've got the
I need more
article,
data.
I haven't read it. Yeah, I've got the article, but I've not read it. I can send it to both of you. It's a Times article from last July, and it said almost 11,000 people in England were hospitalised with malnutrition last year.
Hospitalised with malnutrition is quite an interesting one, because could that be that they're do you think that might be in the news because of it may well be allegedly that there's a malnutrition issue with our queen in waiting, because she may well have some dietary issues?
Everything has to come back to the royalty for you, Andrew. Every single thing comes back to the king and queen. I'm so glad we left this monarchy.
I think, Trent, that the reason I'm saying that is it's timely, because that's the sort of issue that I think we're all going to have to contemplate. That's all I'm saying. It's a timely bit of information now.
Alongside this article, there's an article in the Farmers Guardian this week talking about farming families having to claim universal credit, which is like our welfare state, because farm businesses aren't doing very well. So I think the two of these go hand in hand, because not only do you have farmers that are feeding the nation that can't afford to feed themselves, but also if this continues, farmers aren't going to be able to feed the nation. And then we are going to end up eating the bugs, which I think will cause more malnutrition. Maybe this is what they're trying to promote, is if we eat the bugs, we won't be malnourished.
Actually, I don't know whether you heard our conversation yesterday, Kelly, but we were talking about the opposite of eating the bugs, but eating each other, which was about barbecue Haiti, the guy that's in charge of Haiti at the moment. And it caused quite a stir. I actually had somebody use it as their pinned tweet. Our Across the Pond yesterday was their pinned tweet. And they asked me where I was getting my information on barbecue Haiti. So I thought, oh, that's easy. So because I'd used my search engine, but to my surprise, and I don't know whether Trent knows this, but virtually every article that's positive about this guy has been deleted from the internet. Did you know that, Trent?
No, I did not know that.
And
Yeah.
it's not surprising.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. But you know, when you try and look into his history as a policeman and why he's trying to, take all the corruption and the child abuse out of his nation. Yes, he's had to be quite tyrannical in the way that he showed strength as a gang leader. But of course, they're then concentrating on how he holds on to power rather than what he wants to actually deliver for his people. And it's quite interesting that there's obviously a big difference between what he wants long term for his people and how he holds power. And I can totally understand that. I don't know whether you can, Trent. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't have enough information to know that. All I know is what I garner and what I'm able to access.
And what have you garnered from what you've seen about him?
From what I've seen, I share the opinion that you brought yesterday, that he's, but I also saw him point blank say in a little speech that I am with the devil and I will lay with the devil to get what I want.
Oh, okay. Wow. I haven't seen that.
Point blank saw him say that in an interview.
Oh, well, that isn't good. No. Okay. So anyway, but they all come back to the same people. There are people who have extreme power these days that are not for the people, and I think that's, when you get frustrated when we talk about our royal family, but you're sat with exactly the same people running your government, Trent. They are the same people, aren't they? They are people who have got extraordinary power through wealth, and they're creating more wealth through that power.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't disagree. We just don't pay homage to a king and queen. We try to figure out how to get rid of
it. Yeah, but our royal family don't really have much power. Like, they have more than what you think they do, but they don't have indefinite power, do they?
Well, apparently
they're not
Kelly. I take issue with that.
Yeah, I think you're wrong, Kelly. I thought the same way as you. But when I saw what happened when the Queen died, and I saw the absolute creepiness of all the politicians rubbing up to Charles, I realized he's far more powerful than we ever imagined.
Yeah, but then there is the theory that actually the Rothschilds are more powerful than the royal family.
But I agree with that theory too. But
and that's my point. Is I don't think they have. They don't make. They have influence. They have power. But if the UK turned against them tomorrow, which I think could potentially happen if there's any more controversy over the likes of Kate and that sort of thing, I think we could see a disappearance of them. They'll probably still have power from the background, but I don't think they are sitting that comfortably right now.
I agree with you, but I'm going to tell you something. It's rumoured that the seat of the Rothschild dynasty, or the main man, whatever you want to call it, is actually Prince William. That's the rumour. So, you have to look at, because it's so you have to look at it in a way, and that's a rumour. I have no proof of that, but you have to look at this in a very different way when you start to look at just what those people are responsible for and the wars that they're sponsoring all over the world. The Black Rocks of this world. Trent said yesterday that it's an amazing bit of news from Texas, because the Texas school boards were actually investing in BlackRock, and is that right? They've stopped doing it, Trent. That's true, isn't it?
They've withdrawn their funds. It wasn't the Texas school board. It was the state of Texas government who invests the money of the school, where they put their pension funds and things like that, which, by the way, we should eliminate all pensions. That would solve many problems.
Oh, well, that's an interesting comment. Okay, so you don't think people should invest in looking after themselves when they're older?
Yes, I absolutely think people should invest in looking after themselves. To have the company to do the investment and to give you a pension for the rest of your life from a government entity down to the company that you worked for forever is breaking the world financially. It is not a why. And by the way, it was March 18th, 1818. The first pension in the United States was created, and that pension was for Revolutionary War members, veterans of the Revolutionary War. Think about that. 1818 was a couple of years after the Revolutionary War. How many were even still alive? And yet government gave them a pension for a lifetime for their contributions. Pensions are the problem. We'll take a break. Live across the pond, Kelly Seaton, Andrew Henderson, more after this. We have all of the energy we need right here at home to be energy independent. It's simply the policies that are preventing us from utilizing the resource we have.
Amen. 100%. We can be totally, well, we have been oil independent, but you can't deplete our supplies, and you can't play the games they have politically to manipulate this whole market. We will never survive as a country, a society, anything without petroleum. It just won't happen because it's in everything.
Hello and welcome to the MHA Interpretive Center. It's the perfect stop along the Lewis and Clark Trail and the cultural hub of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation. Nestled along the shores of Lake Sagagawea in Newtown, North Dakota, 1 mile west of the Four Bears Casino. You can enjoy amphitheater performances, art exhibitions, and educational workshops utilizing our living cultural center. Enjoy some coffee, browse our gift shop, and learn about the original people of this land. Learn more at mhanation.com/interpretive center.
Trent Loos here for my friend Greg Hager. Do you know why he has been named the Entertainer of the Year? It's because he writes his own stuff. It's because what he writes and performs and entertains will touch you in a way like very few songwriters can touch you. His country, his Christian roots come to life. Visit greghager.com for tour dates, merchandise, and book the show yourself. Use the code GREG24 for a discount. greghager.com.
Stop out to our facility, Highway 22 South. Let us build a truck for you.
These Fluke Trailers of Dickinson is a family-owned dealer with expert staff that know their products front to back. We stock over 150 units of all types and can custom order a trailer with the unique features and capabilities you require for brands you can trust. Our experienced service team is the reason we're also the best place to have your trailer customized or repaired. Count on Base Fluke Trailers of Dickinson to keep you hauling.
Are you looking for something special or one of a kind? At Bassett Motors, we can help you find exactly what you want.
Come on in and experience how small town hospitality and personal service can make car buying a pleasure.
We know interest rates are important to you. We have multiple lenders to negotiate your lowest payment.
Visit us on Highway 281 in Carrington, North Dakota, and online at BassettMotors.com. Bassett Motors, where our customers send their friends.
Folks, when it comes to crop protection, you need equipment and technology you can count on. The Apache sprayer accomplishes all of that, but you need something else. A service counter and a group of people that'll help you when you need it. Simpson Farm Enterprises at simpsonfarm.com and High Plains Apache from Mandan. They have the service, they have the equipment. All they need is your confidence. Online, simpsonfarm.com or highplainsapache.com.
So see these cows here, Trent.
Welcome back, live across the pond. Kelly Seaton, being chivalrous, we have to go to the lady first. Kelly Seaton, Andrew Henderson from the UK. All right, I have a quote, guys. I want you to tell me who said this quote. All right, we must be careful in trying to help the farmer, not to jeopardize the whole agricultural industry by subsidizing it to the tyranny and bureaucracy of regulation and control that will follow.
Trent Loos.
I would love to, but in 1927, Calvin Coolidge, the one-term president of the United States, vetoed two bills that would give subsidies and relief to U.S. farmers who in the 20s, as we call it, the roaring 20s, if you study what happened to the farming population in the 20s, during World War I, Europe agricultural production ceased to exist. U.S. farmers ramped up production, had an abundance of food. We were delivering food. We were keeping Europe alive during World War I. World War I ends, Europe comes back into production, and it was the toughest time for American agriculture. Government wanted to continue to fund and spend money. Calvin Coolidge said, not on my watch. Then Franklin D. Roosevelt came in 1933. He championed, and they got signed the Agricultural Adjustment Act, which paid farmers to not produce food. In fact, plows were running through fields, burying food that was growing. They subsidized the farmer, and what happened immediately after that? The Dust Bowl. And then in 1937, the U.S. Supreme Court said that the Agricultural Adjustment Act was unconstitutional because it was picking winners and losers with policy. Nothing relevant to today's world in any of that information.
But Trent, Kelly, you do understand that what Trent is saying here, and I have big sympathy with him here, so I'm going to say that he wants all subsidies taken away from farmers immediately. But for that to work, Trent, wouldn't the whole world have to have exactly the same deal? Or else you could potentially put all of your farmers out of business. It certainly happened here in the UK if you did it that way.
Yeah, no, first of all, I don't want farm subsidies to go away. I want all subsidies to go away to welfare mothers, to the plane industry, the airplane industry, to education, to everything. And I want to build the United States on the strength of production instead of taxpayer dollars being funneled into whatever that business may be. When 40% of your GDP is from a government payment, you have a problem. That's an addiction.
Also,
I do agree with Trent. I don't think anyone as a farmer wants to receive subsidies. What we actually want is a fair price for our product. And to have a sustainable business means that it is a business that is profitable. And I think the term sustainability needs to be re-understood as not being green or any of the other rubbish that is greenwashing our industry. It actually needs to be a sustainable business in terms of profitable, able to run, and everything else that goes with running a business, not green and plant hedgerows. Obviously, we all want hedgerows, but you can do that if you're making a profit without government funding.
It certainly would, if we all pushed for that as society, it would determine the true value of everything, wouldn't it? At the end of the day, that's where 100%. We need to be. We need to be back at that. I think any political party that tries to go down that route would be very wise to do it. There needs to be some safety nets there, Trent, I'd have to suggest.
No. Why does there need to be a safety net? To do what? A safety net only helps the big who have the ability to tap into that safety net. It continues to push a small farmer out of business.
You only have to look ultimately. Sorry, you only actually have to look at how COVID worked in the UK and probably in America as well. With we've got this pot of money, PPE, and all of that sort of thing. And that's how subsidies work. Is it funds the wrong pockets ultimately. And you're just using, for example, farmers as a way of laundering that money to big business.
Absolutely. You're both missing my point, actually. I'm not talking about, because as you quite rightly point out, that pandemic, or whatever we want to call it, was a way of transferring money from the poor to the rich.
Mm-hmm.
So is solar panels, so is electric cars, so is net zero. all of those policies transfer money long term from the poor to the rich. What I'm saying is that when you take all the subsidies away and stop that from happening, we have to find a way of making sure that those that really do need support get support. And I'm talking about people who really need it, not people who don't need it. I'm talking about people who are
You
mentally
cannot
ill.
social engineer that, Andrew. It will be abused every single time.
So you're
That
saying
that
then that people with you're relying on the charity of family members. Because remember, Trent, what you're saying in principle is right, but in practice would be wrong, because there are so many families that have been destroyed over the last 40 or 50 years because of social policy. You've broken families everywhere. What percentage of people
Absolutely.
get divorced? So you would be putting people who, through no fault of their own, on the scrap heap.
No, we have to
That's
take
not right.
responsibility for our own actions.
But
Always.
also we have a problem with the way the countries are run at the moment, that they're trying to break down the family. And actually, if we were
Absolutely.
more, and maybe this would rebuild the family unit. Like I was talking today about taking my children to see, I've got 2 uncles down in the south of England, and just saying, you know, we home educate, we can do this. Let's go and spend 2 nights with them. They both had successful careers, and actually, when they're in school, you can't do those things because your time with your children is so limited and you have other things to do. At the minute, we're not silaging, it's not show season. I could take the children down, have 2 nights with one uncle, 2 nights with another, go to all the museums, all of the amazing things in their area. And I said to my husband, you know, I'm 99% certain that they probably wouldn't let me pay for a thing either. But you've got to put in that time and effort to maintain those family relationships, which unfortunately, the way 9 to 5 working works and the way that schools and school holidays works, we're losing those networks. So I think we could rebuild a hell of a lot of like the family network, and like Trent says, looking after your own. I mean, round here and farming especially, I think, well, we had a new slurry tanker this week and it got buried in the field. Yes, it sank in the field. So we phoned a neighbour and he came and pulled it out. You couldn't do that in many towns, villages, cities, whatever. If you have a problem, it's your problem. Rural communities have a special niche in terms of going, oh, it's hit the fan. The bovine fecal matter has hit the fan. And can you help? And somebody will always help.
Yeah,
that's the origin and the true definition of community right there. And the rural communities were built around people sharing equipment and getting together as families more often. I couldn't agree with you more.
And the other thing is, with the way farming's gone, we don't have such a big workforce anymore. You think back probably only 50 years ago, this farm would have had double, maybe triple the amount of people working here, and you would have had much more community events. So you would have had a harvest, you would have had an Easter supper, and all of those things that probably realistically would have revolved around the church, that they just don't happen anymore. I'd like to see it come back. I'd like more role models for my children. I'd like them to know that somebody's always got their back.
Well, I hope that that's what we end up with. I just want to make sure that the transition is fair to everybody, because I just don't want people who have been...
There's your problem word, fair to everybody. The only thing fair in life is the county celebration every summer. There is no such thing as fair.
Okay, all right.
You have to take care of yourself. I do have a chart that has the 2020 through 2024 spending of the UK in it. I found this because I was looking at GDPs and rank of countries. Ironically, the United States is significantly higher, but here is where you guys are spending. This is the UK public sector spending. 4% of your public sector spending goes into agriculture, which I'm shocked. I thought it would be higher. 19% is for your debt. 29% is the number one expense, and that is social protection. I'm not sure exactly what that means. And
Oh, I know what that
20%
means.
into the healthcare. So how do you break that all down?
Well,
It's wrong.
actually, funny enough, while we were talking earlier, it's old figures, it's 2018, but government subsidies directly for railway are in 2018 were £5 billion per year, which is an increase of over 200% since it privatised. So that's the other way our money goes as well, is into Network Rail.
Yeah.
Trent, going back to
We
your
have the same
figures,
issue, Kelly. Same exact issue. And it all goes again in Warren Buffett.
50%. Yeah, so just going back to your figures that you just described in the UK, so you've got 20% for the health service, and social services are things like care homes and also looking after children and various other things. And I look at that and think, well, that's so far out of kilter, it's unbelievable. And is the welfare state, what percentage is in the US? Is it a lot less than that, Trent?
That will have to be tomorrow. Live across the pond. Kelly Seaton, Andrew Henderson, Trent Loos, regaining control for the farmer. See you then.
Bye.
A cliff.
At OLS Tubs, we focus on quality ingredients to create premium, low-consumption supplements that save producers time and money. Our customers see increased profits through better conception rates, heavier winning weights, and less time and money spent on doctoring herds. OLS formulas focus on highly bioavailable trace minerals and vitamins, as well as key ingredients to improve immune response, colostrum quality, and feed conversion. Our exclusive formula propels your livestock to their full genetic potential. This is why we confidently say OLS Tubs are simply the best.
People get sick for two reasons and two reasons only. Your body's missing something that it needs, or it's exposed to something that it doesn't need. So if you supplement what the body's missing, the body fixes itself. If you remove from the body toxins that are interfering with the body's doing what it's normally designed to do, then the body heals itself. It's really that simple.
NO2U, that's nitric oxide, NO, number 2, letter U.com, and you put Trent as coupon code, you don't pay any shipping.
In the heart of North Dakota lies a beautiful community to live, work, and play. Beulah is surrounded by nature and just minutes from Lake Sakakawea and all that it offers. The possibilities for fun and relaxation here are boundless. It's the perfect place to find a fulfilling career, epic adventures, and a welcoming community. Life here is legendary. Plan your visit today and see what you're missing.
Open Range is going to be like a digital magazine, I call it. We're going to be looking at a variety of subjects from agriculture, energy, sports, art, politics, of course, and we will be talking about a lot of subjects, having a lot of guests on, and I'm going to have a variety of co-hosts. One of them is Memo Barreto, Gail Wetzel, Gene Grainer, Dustin Goverlau, and Daryl Lease. Welcome to Open Range, weeknights at 9 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Hey y'all, it's Trent on the Loos. Join me on the trip and unearth the stories on how we maintain a domestic supply of food and fuel for future generations of American citizens like our forefathers did.